Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. Would you recommend a Mac to a friend or family member who's looking to purchase a notebook? It's a good question. The question was asked by Laptop Magazine over the past week or so, and 3 pundits responded in the article. And for the most part, they gave okay answers, but one person was dead wrong. Now remember, this is a so-called expert in the field, influencing decisions from regular users as well as corporate. And Al Gillen says, it depends on what that person is planning on doing with his or her system. If it's needed for email or business applications, I would recommend Windows as it has Microsoft Office. If it's needed for entertainment, I would recommend the Mac. So, yeah. I think Al is stuck in a time machine of his own. That was the wrong answer. I mean, there is such a thing as giving the wrong answer. For one, Microsoft Office is available for the Mac. And let's look beyond the fact that there are open source alternatives to Microsoft Office which will do just as much and in some cases more than Microsoft Office might do for the average user. And let's not forget that email is platform neutral, meaning you can check email pretty much anywhere on any operating system that has software or an interface for you to get to that email. It was just a bad answer. So what I did, I blogged about this. This is where I'm reading it from at this point. I blogged 10 reasons why you'd want to stick with Windows, why you'd want to buy a computer with Windows, why you'd want Windows. And I was trying to be honest, not tongue-in-cheek at all. Instead of telling people why they might want to switch, I'm giving people reasons why they'd want to stick with Windows over everything else. 1, you're afraid of learning something new. You don't want to change the way you do anything ever, or your world falls apart when someone deletes an icon from your desktop or start menu. Number 2, you like shopping for bargain basement hardware and need an operating system that supports every possible component you might throw at it, no matter how old or how obscure that equipment might be. You also like getting what you pay for. Number 3, you want to build your own PC. Number 4, your favorite software realistically doesn't have an equivalent available on any other platform. Bonus points are awarded if you've taken the time to look before jumping to this conclusion. Number 5, and this is a big one, you're a hardcore gamer, in which case you better not ever suggest that Macs are more expensive than PCs. Games. The top reasons why anybody would opt into Microsoft Windows. If you're a PC gamer, then there's virtually no choice for you right now other than Windows. Number 6, your company gave you the computers and they can't support anything else. Number 7, you feel comfortable, confident, and generally good in knowing that there are more people using Windows than there are using OS X at home or at work. Number 8, you hate the way OS X affixes the applications menu at the top of the screen rather than in the application window itself, even after realizing that Microsoft has been actively attempting to wean users off of menus altogether. Number 9, you don't have any major issues with Microsoft Windows. You don't mind how it looks, you don't mind how it works, and you don't care how you get things done so long as you can get things done. There's absolutely nothing wrong with complacency. Number 10, you're afraid that you'll like something else more than Microsoft Windows. Believe it or not, I've heard that excuse given to me several times, and I would consider that last one less of a reason and definitely more of an excuse. People are afraid of trying something different because they're afraid they're going to like it more. I understand costs are certainly associated with these kind of choices, but I wanted to give realistic reasons why you would stay with Windows, not tongue-in-cheek. So if you couldn't hear the background, I've got Lord Cat, Wireless Packet, and Datalore on with me in a Skype conversation. I was just wondering your thoughts on this whole situation that's continuing to evolve around us. Seems like a lot of Me Too-ism, finger-pointing, Leopard's better than Windows, Windows is better than Leopard, so on and so forth. What do you guys think?
Well, I think when you boil it down, it's really a matter of personal preference. Even for gamers, if you're a hardcore gamer, sure, you'll have to stick with Windows, but if you're just a casual gamer and you just want to play the occasional game, if you're looking for Windows, Zenigos will play the top games out there right now. and their installer is pretty painless too. So I think games are becoming less and less of a reason to use Windows.
Now, what was that particular suggestion there?
Sedega, however you pronounce it.
It's from a company called Trans Gaming or Trans.
Yeah, Trans Gaming, I believe it's from.
Okay.
And they basically pretty much do the same thing that Wine does and lets you run native Windows applications natively in Linux.
Yeah, but aren't gamers always obsessed with the highest frame rates and always having tweaked their software to the max? I mean, can you really get that that level of control?
Sure. It's really just really a compatibility layer between DirectX and OpenGL. The performance that you take is negligible, especially with the latest Core 2 systems out there.
Yeah, some people have been saying that they've been getting better frame rates running Sedega instead of being on a native Windows platform. Even
Really?
with, I think World of Warcraft is one of the games they said runs a lot better with less hardware. Like, not the top-of-the-line hardware. You can use a card that's 6 months old and get similar frame rates to something that just currently came out on the market. So
Wow. I mean, literally, wow. World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So, Datalore, what's your position?
I'm more old school. I'm not a gamer per se. Like, Tetris would be as far as I go. But if I was to I'd recommend Leopard now, even though it's not out yet. I'd recommend Leopard for home use. The idiot that mentioned using Windows PC for email and stuff like that. Like, I put my wife in front of my MacBook Pro last week, and she just took to it straight away. But when I bought her a laptop last year, it took her about 3 weeks just to get used to XP because she was using 98 at work. So yeah, it's I go with Mac definitely myself.
yeah, I go with the Mac and also Linux more than Windows. But you can do all of the basic stuff: email, web browsing, instant messaging, on all three platforms. So.
See that?
Personally,
not everyone's a gamer.
Yeah.
Not everyone's a gamer online, and a lot of people will probably go for the MacBook. Not like, what percent of PC users are gamers, like hardcore gamers that like tweak their own hardware? Most people, most families or parents or whatever, they go out and buy consoles for gaming. You know, like, there are plenty to choose from, but they'd like to have their kids in the living room or sitting room or in the bedroom playing the games while they have access to use the machine in their own private space. So I think, like, from the late 20s to early 50s market, for ease of use, definitely the OS X operating system, whether it be Tiger or Leopard, would suffice in a lot of areas. You know, it depends really what you want to pull out of it. But in terms of ease of use and a person adapting to it, I definitely would recommend OS X. In either form, Tiger or Leopard.
Personally, I would just recommend using FreeDOS, but that's me.
Yeah, you're crazy. Go ahead.
They were saying, I think there were some numbers out. Don't quote me on it, but I was reading an article saying that Mac has a large number of their users are between the ages of like 45 and 65. So I mean, it's a lot of people are like older. Are going towards the Mac because I'm assuming it's easier for them to use.
Well, it's not just that. My mom tends to be the type of user who, and I've tried to do some amount of education, but if you can't get past certain paradigms, it just won't work. They get used to one application, and there's a step-by-step process through which they can complete a task. And if you are that kind of person, it is more difficult to make a switch. In the first place. Number two, it's difficult for you to understand that the file doesn't live inside of Microsoft Word. The picture doesn't live inside the photo editor. They're just different ways to edit and view your files, these different programs. You could show Microsoft Word on Windows, and if it doesn't look and work exactly the same way as it does on the Mac, well, then the person's going to be confused. And that's just kind of a fact. I've seen it happen over and over again. So the question is what is it going to take to get people really, truly over that hurdle? And I know virtual machines, VMware Fusion is a great solution for that, but can I really give that to my parents and let them understand what's going on in the background?
I think the real honest
Virtualization.
switch isn't going to be able to happen until you're able to sit down in front of the computer and you're going to see internet, email, shut down, and then that's how they'll be able to use the computer more regularly. And that one touch is going to get them everything they want.
And especially on the OS 10 laptops and MacBooks and MacBook Pros, the sheer instantaneousness of opening and closing the lid and knowing that the machine's going to shut down and you're not looking at all these messages say, Windows is shutting down, or waiting 10 minutes for the damn thing to close down. You know, I think that will appeal to people as well, believe it or not, because they want to know that their information is secure. They want to know that their information is there and that there's no threat, or, you know, because the moment people see that Windows takes like 10 minutes to close down, they're going to say, oh, my PC has a problem. Whereas the Mac just closes down, you can forget about it until you power it up the next time.
Also,
Believe it or not, people actually look at that as a good point.
Go ahead, wireless packet.
Even I was running into the issue with Windows, the hibernation mode. Sometimes it doesn't always work like it's supposed to. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's exclusive to Windows.
Well, it's certainly not exclusive to Windows. It's just that
Just worse on Windows, I suppose.
Because Apple controls both the software and the hardware, they have a more intimate knowledge. They don't have to account for a million different configurations, just a handful of configurations. So that's one of the reasons why I've considered switching my parents to a Mac. But I'm only going to do that if they take classes at the Apple Store and ask them questions, or if they start using it and understand that it's different from Windows, but it may possibly be better. But this is just a guess. I mean, I see all the new features in Leopard, and I'm going, wow. I mean, I literally went, wow, when I read some of the 300 new features that Apple had released on their website a few days ago. And a lot of people did. A lot of people saw the video recording that's built into iChat, the screen sharing that's built in, all these features that would enable better tech support from a remote location. They kind of exist in Windows, but it's a kludge inside of Windows, especially if you're that other user. And that's some of the processes that Apple has really refined in Leopard, from what I can tell on the outside.
It definitely looks a lot nicer than and I really like iChat with being able to take like a PDF document and just drop it right into iChat and then sharing it with the person on the other end. That's just amazing.
Like I said, I had a lot of wows going for me, and then I saw Mary Jo Foley today blogged that Microsoft has apparently had let me see if I can find it, the 100 reasons why everyone's so speechless. And they had posted this apparently in January this year, but no one really cared. And to tell you the truth, after reading like the first 2 pages, I didn't really care. And then I think it's very indicative of the whole mindset when you scroll down on the first page and it says some product features are only available in certain editions of Windows Vista and may require advanced or additional hardware. Wicket, I'm not even going to mention Ubuntu, so knock it off.
Aw.
Sorry, he's a big Ubuntu fan. He's just happy that 7.10 is out, so... Freaking dogs in Linux. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so...
I'm using Windows Vista, and I have to say, I haven't said wow once. I've said quite a number of expletives, but not wow.
I'm not trying to be... Well, maybe I am trying to be down, but I'm trying to give people a realistic perspective of the choices that are available to them, and not everybody understands the choices that are available. They just assume that if a pundit says it, or they read it in the paper, that it's gospel truth, and they got to find out for themselves. That's my opinion. Finding out for yourself and realizing what kind of user you are, and then making an educated choice based upon your experiences. And if you haven't experienced it, walk into an Apple store. That's what they're there for.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Walk into an Apple store and play with the Macs that are on display and check them out and see if you like them.
And not just, pussyfooting around the OS. I mean, really asking questions, looking for answers, just getting a general feel. If you're not impressed with Leopard, I don't know what would impress you, because there are very few other things that have impressed me in recent years, that's for sure, at least as far as operating systems are concerned. But I'd be interested in finding out what other people think about this whole debate that's going to go on forever, but specifically about Windows versus or Windows Vista specifically versus Leopard. I mean, the latest operating systems from both Microsoft and from Apple, respectively. This is something that I think is going to become a hot topic increasingly in the coming weeks and months as we near the holiday season for 2007 and beyond. I think Apple is going to have a banner year with the sale of hardware and software. They're certainly lapping, seemingly, Microsoft in terms of mind share, not market share necessarily, but it's what people are thinking every day. They email me, they come into chat, they ask questions. Should I get this or should I get that? Should I buy this hardware? Should I buy that hardware? And it usually rides that line, Apple versus PC. People are ready. You have to ask the question, why? Why are they ready? What kind of user are you? What are you going to do? Are you sticking with what you got? And if so, why? Just curious. So email me, chris@perillo.com, with your tale, or you could also swing by the chat room anytime, day or night. We're typically talking tech, and even if I'm not there, other people are, and as long as you are a courteous person, a nice person, then you will be received warmly. The moment you get annoying, that's when we usually turn on the bozo filter and start ignoring you. So be nice, be kind. That chat room is open 24 hours a day.
Rewind.
What's it? Yeah, I was going to say be kind, rewind, Jason. Unfortunately, I think a lot of the people who are watching this wouldn't understand what we mean when we say be kind and rewind.
Wow.
And if you do know what we mean, leave a comment or a remark and swing by that chat room. Will you later.